So I'm sure you have heard in metaphysical circles for eons now about doing versus being. I'm going to take it one step further, but just in case you're not really familiar with the vernacular and how that works, then let me break it down for you. One of the main tenets of manifestation work is about, it's super important that we're being the person that we want to become. Okay? A lot to do with identity, but just overall, we're being the person energetically, emotionally, I did that backwards, emotionally, in our thoughts, and in our actions, etc. So that is being. And a lot of times in manifestation, people make the mistake, yours truly included, of doing. I got to call more people. I got to do more funnels. I got to do a workshop. I got to write a book. I got to do this. The doing can do us in. So the being, and to quote one of my favorite, no longer with us mentors, not that I ever knew him, but Neville Goddard, who I think passed away the year I was born. But the point being that, you want to step into the wish fulfilled. You want to be the version of you who already has that. And so most all manifestation teachers teach that. Be, not do. And again, I want to clarify that you don't just sit around twirling your thumb and being like, I'm just going to sit here and be me and all my millions are going to land in my lap. That's not what I mean. It's about being in the energy of the vision that you have for yourself. So that's pretty clear, right? I mean, I did this in 2 minutes, so I wouldn't even need a video if it was just about being versus doing. And we could go on and on, but I think you get the gist of it. That's not what this is about. I just wanted to clarify that being is more energetic, it's an essence, and doing is more physical and third dimensional and push and force. That doesn't mean that in the process of being the person you want to become, you don't have to do things. You just have to do them from a place of being, right? Does that add to it? If I'm being the version of me who's a New York Times bestselling author, for example, I wouldn't feel the need to just go. I wouldn't feel that need. But I might say, oh, I think I'll visit this store, or I'll go to this website, or I'll be a guest on this podcast. It's not ever from the energy of do. Okay? So what we're talking about today isn't that. I want to talk about undoing. Undoing is what keeps us from being. Talk about a tongue twister. So a lot of times clients will come to me and they are like, what do I need to fix? What's wrong with me? What do I need to stop doing? There's that word doing again. What do I need to stop doing? And it's not about doing things differently. It's about undoing the things that made you feel like you can't have the things that you want. Does that make sense? Let me say it again. It's not about doing more to have more. It's about undoing all the reasons you think you don't have more. Trippy, right? Hear me out though. If you were the version of yourself in all your perfection, in all your preciousness, in your beautiful spirit light of contribution and service, and and just wanting to feel good and to help other people feel good and to be of service and to just have a good life. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to spend 2 weeks in Hawaii. That's okay, right? We are 5 sensory beings. We have these needs. We have these feelings. The problem comes when over time we're told to suppress those feelings. Don't feel like that. Don't want that. And we suppress it, and it gets stuffed down and stuffed down and stuffed down. We have to undo that. We have to undo that. We have to take that doing of damage, that damaged doing, out of our system. How do we do that? How do we undo? That is the question. How do we undo? You're going to like the answer. We be. We be the version of ourselves who already has what we want. Because when we have what we want in our imagination, in our hearts, which becomes our electromagnetic field, and that field goes out and touches all the other little fields that are similar in quality, we start to attract those things to us. Through being, we start undoing the doing. Does that make sense? So some of the biggest undoings that I see that need to be undone are things like, I have a belief, I need to change it. No, you don't. You can never change your beliefs. Neuroscience offered a lot of promise, and and I've had some success with my clients, but I can't imagine that anyone ever, including like the top people in the world that you think of, I won't drop names, because right now there's such a division in the world that people are like, I hate him, I love her, so I don't even like to drop names anymore. But let's just say that someone who's very well accomplished, who came from a bad background and is now very successful. I know we can use a sports celebrity. We can use like Michael Jordan, right? You might say, yeah, well, he changed his beliefs. He did not change his beliefs. I guarantee you those beliefs are somewhere in his neural networks. Neuroplasticity shows us how we can shift and alter beliefs and create new neural networks, but it doesn't get rid of these old ones. Teachers tell us, and I tell students this too, that we can kind of put it on mute. We can prune those old neural connections. Sure we can, with tons of time, lots of repetition, and focused emotion. They can be pruned. But if you don't have an extra 5 to 10 years to do that, you might want to try another plan. And that's what I'm suggesting here. So what we need to know, first and foremost, is that those beliefs that you think you need to change are not going to change. And you don't need to change them. You just need to undo your believing in them. And our belief in what holds us back, what we want to undo, is really more about stopping the focus on it. It's like I said with Michael Jordan, it's always going to be in his neural network somewhere, right? Just like you learn to walk, you can't take that out of your neural network. You could take it out of your spinal column, where then you can't walk anymore. You could do nerve damage, you can't walk anymore. But assuming nothing negative happens, no damage happens on a physical level, physiologically, you're not going to forget how to walk. It's in your neurology. Likewise, the beliefs that someone gave you when you were young, that you're not good enough, there's never enough, it's a scary world, blah, 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 blah. Those can find a softer resting place, but to sit there and try to break them isn't going to work. So the way that we move past that is we be the version of ourselves that wants to have that. And that starts with undoing all the things we currently do that entrain that belief. We have to undo it. We have to say, oh, I'm no longer a person who believes that. I'm going to be this person. Oh, I'm no longer a person that does that. I'm no longer a person who smokes. I'm no longer a person who drinks too much. I'm no longer a person who tells little white lies. I'm no longer a person who spends too much. I'm no longer a person who looks at my bank balance and freaks out. You undo it that easily with a decision. You make the decision to undo it. I'm going to have the great undoing of my life in 2025. I'm just not going to do that anymore. That is a version of me that is not this vision of me. So I'm not going to do that anymore. Just not going to do it. It's a decision. I think of all the people, and myself included, who have spent tons of money, tens of thousands, 100,000, on figuring out what's wrong. Why am I not where I want to be? What's wrong with me? And it's that thinking that I have to do something different to be what I want to be that is such BS. All we have to do is undo. is just decide. It's a decision. I'm not going to do the version of me who did the things that I did that had me thinking I had to do all this stuff to get ahead. And you just be. And I know it's really confusing and it's like I'm going back and forth and what is she talking about? But the bottom line is it's not about doing more to have more. It's about being the version of yourself that you want to be, embodying it fully, feeling it, thinking it, and acting from that space and undoing all the past conditioning by just stepping away from it. I want to make sure you get that, because if you step back into it to fix it, where's your attention? It's on what's wrong with me. And as long as you are looking at what's wrong with you, or looking for answers to why you aren't more successful, more in love, more thin, as long as you are looking for what's wrong with you in your current reality, that's where your attention's going. That's what we want to undo. We want to start putting our attention towards the vision. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, let me know. Check out the links below. I am taking private one-on-one clients, and I have a special going on. So click on the link below and set up a time to chat. Chatting is free. I never charge you for chatting and never pressure anyone. I just love to help people. But a girl's got to make a living, right? Okay, have a good day. Thank you.